So, welcome everybody to the last session of Folk Art Exploratory Series. Let's get started to learn about a little bit of Wali art and the context where it comes from. First of all, I think most of us know that there are more than 700 tribes in India, and Wali art is one of those. So it's actually thought to be one of the oldest form of art in history. And Wali painting is a style of a tribal art which is mostly created by tribal people from the North Sahyadri range in India. So where is North Sahyadri range? Any guesses?
Himachal Pradesh?
Not quite.
Mountains, mountainous region.
Yes, it is mountainous region, but not quite. It's close to the Vindhya Satpura range. Right, so I'll show you where it exactly is. The Sahyadri range is, you can see the map, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so you can see the geographical map of India and a little bit of specific region where the southern part of India, right? So if you can see my cursor, over here, the Western Ghats, if you have studied in your school or read somewhere, the Western Ghats has the Sahyadri range. So this one that is almost vertical is the Sahyadri mountain range, right? It's in the Western Ghats. That is the western side of India. Next, the Wali tribe is one of the largest again. Bond was another large tribe. Wali art is another very, very large tribe, which is located just out of Mumbai. Okay, it's not inside the city of Mumbai, the Bollywood city, but it's a little outside Mumbai. But one very interesting thing is, despite being very close to a metropolitan city, it has no influence whatsoever from the metropolitan and urbanization of that part of the area. So it basically tries to reject much of the contemporary culture that Mumbai has been influenced from. So yeah, it's a tribal form of art and is thought to date back to early 10th century AD. Very, very old. Right, so let's get to some features of Wali art. So in Wali art, it's a vivid expression of daily and social events. So unlike the other forms of art that we previously did, this form of art specifically depicts everyday activities, be it like cooking, as you can see in this image. It could be cooking, it could be, making, weaving, it could be some other forms of daily activities, dancing, taking a cycle along the road, something along those lines. So it's not very mythological in nature, but very, very realistic. Something that a lot of us can relate to, even though we don't live in the villages. Right, so Wali tribe of Maharashtra, so they actually try and depict the daily and social events. And what they basically do is they try and embellish the walls in the villages. So let me show you. Can you see this picture here? Over here, you can see that after the background, they have actually drawn what they are trying to depict, the happiness, the sort of activities they do, and embellish it with a lot of patterns, right? And if you actually notice, the figures over here, be it the man or the woman, they're very easy to draw. But at the same time, if you actually look in depth, they have a lot to say also. Like, say for example, in this picture, we can see that these people are doing, all of them are doing different activities. These three of them are dancing over here. Somebody is doing something with a stick. Then somebody is there playing the drums. Somebody's dancing alone. Somebody's running with a piece of cloth. Somebody's helping the other person with carrying something. So basically, it's a very vibrant, when you look at it, it gives you the entire picture of what's actually happening in that village, right? So it really gives you an insight into their everyday lives. Right, so they believe that this form of art is the only means of transmitting folklore to the populace, not acquainted with written word, but only through art. So through this sort of an art form, even without reading anything about their culture or their style of living, we get to learn or we understand a lot just through their depiction of their form of art. So say for example in this one, we get to know that these people are really happy people. They are dancing, and this is sort of some form of an activity that's going on, and something that's giving them a lot of happiness, right? Yeah, Kapish.
I had a doubt that I in my school I have also done worldly art, and here also when I look closely, the stick figures their bodies are made with triangles. So is it their bodies are always made with triangles, or other shapes are also used?
If you're talking about specifically about human figures, they're always triangles. So actually they're not triangles, they're crisscross. So when you're drawing, you don't have to draw one triangle and then draw another triangle under it, but rather you draw a cross and then you join the edges, right? So their form of body is always like this, be it a man or the woman, okay? But however, I'll show you let me see if I have some examples here. Yeah, if you see the birds or in this picture, right, and the animals here, they are triangular in shape, but the triangular feature is a little distorted. So
Yes.
if you see the calves and the animals in this picture, they are like the human figure itself, but they are horizontally put, okay, and they are a little squashed from the vertical side. And the birds over here are different. The birds are specifically rounded and a little wavy, and they have like a tail and stuff like that, but it is not a triangular shape here. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Did I explain this? Right. So we were just talking about how this art form actually takes us back to and tells us exactly what these people are feeling, without any form of words, because they might have a different language and we might speak in a different language, but through art we can understand that this is a human being, regardless of the fact that what they call it in their language and what we call it in our language, right? So this is a human being, these are things that they are doing, and this is something that we all can relate to, right? And these paintings do not depict any mythological characters or images of deities, but only social life. Social life includes their everyday activities. You can see the birds flying here, there's a bird sitting on top, then there's somebody cooking, there's somebody knitting or weaving, and all of that stuff, right? So these are some of the examples. You can see like the whole picture gives you the feeling that you've actually gone to that village to see what's exactly happening, right? Like look at the vibrancy of the tree. Like from the tree, it shows you exactly like what's happening in the stream that's going down here, like towards the end of the picture. And there's like a crop that's growing. Yeah, I think Kapish, you raised your hand again.
Yes, I raised.
Yeah, go on.
The examples which you have showed, all the three, in all the three it is showing that the drawings are made with black, white and red. So are not any other colors used?
I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to that point. Right. So I was talking about the stream. So you can see even in the stream, they haven't left it like open-ended. They've put in like fishes, different forms of fishes in there. Then you can see the trees, the palm trees, specifically the other forms of trees. And if you actually observe, all these trees and bushes and all are all of different types. they are not specifically looking at one type or one figure, but it's all different. So in one tree the leaves are pointed, in the other tree the leaves are rounded, the other tree looks like more like a date palm tree, and so on. Does anybody want to mention any interesting figure that you've seen over here?
Ishani Didi, can I show you my picture of one figure?
Can we? We will definitely look at your picture a little bit later, because I'll have to stop my screen share again and then you can show. So let's finish this PPT and then we'll go on. When we do the painting, you can show us, okay?
Okay.
Didi, in this river, it is showing some sort of in the second picture in this fish it is showing some sort of different kind of fish.
Yes, that's the vibrancy of the folk art form, right? There is not just one form of fish. There's just not one form of turtle or anything else in the river. There's like multiple forms. Unlike Gond art and Madhubani art that we've discussed previously, we were just sticking on to one sort of a tree, like the mahua tree, or the people, or the birds, or things like that. But here it's all vibrant. But again, the scope is that the animals and the human beings have to be in the form that they have depicted in. Right. So they are actually painted on mud base.
Excuse me, Ishani.
Yes.
This is done with white color paint.
I'm coming on to that.
Okay.
I'm coming on to the coloring aspect.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Right. That's the next point actually. So it's painted on an austere mud base using one color, which is white, with occasional dots in red and yellow. Okay. So because we have seen this previous picture here, you can observe that the wall is a mud base, right? They have not colored the wall into, okay, let me color the wall into blue and then I will do the painting. It doesn't work like that in their culture. So basically the wall, they painted with mud. So mud color is almost red, or you can say sort of brownish, right? And then on top of that, they do the white paint. And you can see there's like occasional dots of red and yellow. Yellow is not here, but red is there. That again they're not expanding it to, n number of colors. They're sticking on to the white color because that's on a darker base, the white is the most prominent. So even if they do some other color, it won't be that prominent, right? And I think it again shows their sort of influence and where they come from. And the white color is basically grounding rice into white powder, into very fine white powder. So it's not the white color, the acrylic color that we use. In villages or in the tribal forms of art, they try and use the most natural colors available to them, right? So in that, this white that you see is the rice powder, because in villages, again, it's paddy, it's rice that's more like the staple food, and you have that in your houses, so it's easy to get color from there. It's believed that these paintings also invoke the power of gods, even though this painting does not depict mythological characters or any form of religious events. Still, they believe that these sort of paintings, doing it at their homes, evoke the power of God, make them, as we discussed previously also in Gond art, right? These sort of paintings give them the idea of beautifying their house. Like today, we may, if somebody comes to our house, we clean up all the, drawing room, dining room, everything very nicely, clean, neat, and tidy. Similarly, in their houses, they decorate their houses using these forms of art. Now, in Worli paintings, it's also rare to see a straight line. A series of dots and dashes make one line, right? So over here, you can see that even though in the soil part, we can see one line, but beneath it, to depict the soil and the the nature of the particles, there are dots. Any doubts here? Okay. Now,
Is it so that no straight lines are used in worldly art?
sorry.
Why are no straight lines used in worldly art?
The question why is something that you'll have to look into what they believe in, the kind of traditions they follow. You'll have to read in a little bit in depth of that. In that, I'll try and look it up. But I think it's again to do, like, it's my perspective. Straight lines, definitely there are straight lines. Okay, like if you see over here, the border is a straight line, but what over here it depicts is that straight line in terms of the tree or the soil, or something along those lines. But I'll definitely clarify your doubt and look in depth into and let you know in the book.
Okay.
Right. So let's get on to some art techniques again. I think I've covered a decent amount of what I have to speak in this part previously as well. So number one, theme of the painting. Again, the theme of the painting here is again to be like a social form of art, so wherein you depict what's happening in the village. So say for example, if it's a festivity, there's a festival and everybody's celebrating, you will try and depict that in your form of art. Now, we not being worldly people, we not having that sort of a culture or a background, we'll have to actually look at this form of art as worldly people ourselves. Maybe we don't exactly, we've never visited the region of that region of Sahyadri range, but still when we are painting, we have to believe that we are worldly people, and then we do a form of art. That's the sort of expression that we look for in worldly art. Now, number two is unique feature of drawing the living beings in triangular. Now, again, I think Kapish asked this. The triangular feature is, I think, very, very typical to worldly art. So whenever you see this sort of an art, it's typically worldly art. Now, one thing to mention over here is that there is another tribal form of art which is very similar to worldly art. I'm just forgetting the name. I'll try and get that. But that form of art is also very similar to worldly art. It also depicts social form of life and all of that. But the distinction is that they have colors used in it. Here we are specifically sticking onto the white and the mud base, or if you're doing it in acrylic, we try and keep it a little dark, maybe reddish or a little blackish sort of a background, and then we do white on top of it. Of course, red and yellow we can add wherever we like, but majorly it should be white. Now, the other form of folk art that I'm talking about, there's a lot of colors used in it. I'll definitely try and look out the name. I'm just forgetting it. I'll definitely put it up. Again, I've covered the color scheme. Color scheme is again white and mud base. But of course, making it a little contemporary, you can add your own imagination, thinking into it. And you can have like a different sort of background also, very vibrant, red, blue, green sort of a background, and then you do white on top of it. Or you can do it the other way around as well. You can, of course, you can experiment with, as many things as you want to. Right, so I wanted to talk about a little bit of some forms of images that I've got from the internet. So you can actually look at it and observe what sort of pictures depict worldly art. Right, so this one. The first picture over here is again depicting some form of festivity, which is why they have geometrically decorated the entire image here. Second form of art, this one they're again showing the regular activities. You can see the circle of people sitting around. They're actually sitting and having food together. You can see where they're placing their arms and hands. There's one person in the center who is serving the food. And then near the tree, there is another person who's sitting and cooking food, another person doing something else. So, you can see like there's so many activities going on in that one picture frame itself. Again, some more depictions. In the first picture, something very peculiar here is that the people over here, specifically, I think it's depicting women because they have a bun at the back of their heads. So that depicts a woman, and a man does not have a bun. So the women over here are carrying their, like the dried husk or something and taking it somewhere. That's a very regular activity to be depicting in an art form, but that's really the quality of Wali art. And similarly, you can see in the second bigger art, the black background as well. They're doing different sort of activities here. Just jump in with your questions. I'm just explaining what's there in these art forms. Here again, if you actually look closely, again, similar activities. People, there are birds, there are people cooking, there are people taking water out from a well. There's one section where people are just dancing and celebrating. There's another section where the person is taking the calves and their and the livestock somewhere, perhaps to the paddy or to some other place, right? So yeah, and another thing is you can see the type of trees here. It's very different. This again looks like a date palm tree. This looks more like a shrub cum tree sort of a thing. And here this is a larger tree, but still it's not as big. It's bigger than the house. You can see the relativity of the size of the images here. You see the date palm tree is very tall because it's in the front of the image, while the other tree that you see over here, if you can see my cursor, it's actually smaller than the date palm tree, even though it might be of the same size. Why? Because of the distance. So here you also have to keep in mind regarding the distance. You can see that they have made sure that relative to the house, the tree is taller, which means the tree is a large tree, but it is not as big as the date palm tree over here because this tree is farther away from where the picture is seen from the artist's lens, right?
Didi,
Yeah.
in this picture, in the red one, the dancing, they are man and girls dancing in a circle together.
And in one, as in which one? One second. Which one?
In the middle.
Sorry, which one are you exactly talking about?
This one.
The right?
No, the next one.
This one?
Yeah, the last one. In the middle, you can see.
I can.
It's like someone is playing like a tabla or something.
Drum.
Yes.
Is that a girl or a boy?
It's most likely.
Ask, how will we know that this is a girl or a boy?
Right. It's good question. So if you see, like over here also I mentioned that because there is a bun in that figure, it typically shows that it's a woman, right? And if there is no bun, if there is nothing on your head, so then it's a man. Are you getting that?
Yes.
You can see that, over here there is a bun in this woman's head. Generally that depicts that you have a long hair, and that's why they've put it in the form of a bun. While men typically don't have, right? Generally, we would not see that, which is why we don't see a bun in the men. And also, if you see there's something on top of the heads, they are basically decorations and jewelries that they're trying to depict. Because this is like a very stick figure sort of a image. It's very difficult to show that, oh, women are wearing bangles and jewelry and those sort of things. So instead of showing that, they show these sort of sticks on their heads, which basically depicts jewelry.